Hi, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from RicoScores, and we have two major updates today that have gone down the past couple of days, and I have a couple of more things I want to add at the end as well. But most importantly, the Washington Commanders went ahead and signed Pro Bowl linebacker slash special teamer Nick Bellore. He reunites with Larry Izzo. We're going to dive into all of that. Also, the Washington Commanders will now play at NorthWest Stadium after getting a new stadium sponsor. It was an elite business move. We're going to break all of that down and more. But before we do, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content, man. I really appreciate y'all for pulling up and supporting all of the videos. Again, I've been super busy, but I've been trying to make sure I at least get a video every now and then to y'all. And then when we get to this regular season, it's on. It's daily videos, constantly, multiple videos in a day type of things. I will be live streaming the upcoming Week 1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers game in Tampa Bay, all 4 quarters, all of that, man. So make sure y'all pull up for that. Really appreciate y'all. Let's go and dive into this video, though, man. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so the Washington Commanders officially signed Nick Bellore to the practice squad, though. Not the active roster, the practice squad, not the 53-man final roster, all that type of stuff where Noah Brown went as soon as we signed him. This is a practice squad signing technically. But new special teams coordinator Larry Izzo finally got his guy, because it was reported like over a week ago that we tried to sign him, but then just couldn't see eye to eye on the contract numbers for whatever reason. But it's really weird to me because we tried to sign him before 53-man roster cuts with the possibility of him making the final roster to be one of those 53. And then he said no then, but now he's willing to land on the practice squad for potentially what I would assume would be less money, more than likely. So maybe he, at the time back then, thought he had another chance with another team or something like that. I don't know, honestly, but I know Larry Izzo is ecstatic. Remember, we hired Larry Izzo to be our special teams coordinator from the Seattle Seahawks. And he had like 5 or 7 straight seasons of being one of the best special teams coordinators, having and basically coaching the Seahawks to being one of the best special teams in the NFL. And so now he's bringing over his guy who has made 2 Pro Bowls because of his special teams ability. And so I know he's happy. We'll see if he ends up making it to the 53-man roster, because this is not like a developmental linebacker type of guy that you sign to the practice squad and hope that one day he develops into like a better linebacker that can play on defense. We already know who this guy is on defense. Not very good. He's literally here for special teams only. And so I'm assuming at some point maybe he'll find his way onto the 53-man roster, because there's really no point in keeping him on the practice squad. This is a guy that should be playing on special teams. And outside of that, it's not like this is a guy that you just stow away on the practice squad and hope he gets better later on down the line or something like that. This is a true veteran that's been in the league for, I believe, like double-digit seasons at this point. So I don't know. This is a really weird move. Again, even just on his side, to not sign with us because of whatever, they couldn't see eye to eye on the contract or whatever, when he had the chance to make the 53-man roster before we did 53-man cuts, and then for him to sign with the practice squad. I'm assuming he will be elevated to the actual real 53-man roster at some point. Probably more than likely before we go into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, and he will play, because again, like I already said, what's the point of having an elite special teamer on the practice squad? This is not a guy you hope to develop into a better linebacker later on down the line. Shouts out to Ben Standig, because he pointed this out all the way back on August 22nd. The Commanders sought special teams help by bringing in Nick Bellore for a private workout this week. Again, this was back on August 22nd. However, the two sides could not agree on terms. And Bellore, 35, earned his 2 Pro Bowl selections in 2020 and 2023 under Commanders special teams coach Larry Izzo. And those are both fairly recent. He made the Pro Bowl last season, and then before then, 3 seasons before that. So this is not a guy that, even though he is 35, it's not like his Pro Bowl, him earning the Pro Bowl selections and things like that was way earlier in his career. No, this is recent. Like, he's now figured out how to be an elite special teamer, and that's more than likely why we're bringing him in. Just to let you know, he was released in March, though. So I believe he hasn't been on a team this entire time. and which makes me even question the fact that he didn't sign with us over a week ago earlier when we tried to sign him. Whatever the numbers were, I guess they had it figured out. He will wear number 57, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because that's the number that was previously worn by Anthony Pittman, and that was a guy that was brought in as a linebacker to be a pure special teams guy for us. He was like the Detroit Lions special team ace. He was arguably their best special teamer, and then I thought we stole him away from them, and then I thought he was not necessarily guaranteed to make the final 53-man roster, but I thought he was fairly safe because he's an elite special teamer, and that's typically a niche that would make this team. Now, granted, in the preseason he did look pretty bad at linebacker. More than anything else, he just looked slow. Like he just bad angles and things like that. It didn't look good. But we didn't bring him here to be a linebacker. We brought him here to be a special teamer. And I feel like Nick Bellore is the same thing, where you don't want him playing on defense. So I wonder what made them get rid of Anthony Pittman, who they signed as a free agent way back in March, but then brought in Nick Bellore now to do the same thing. Maybe it's the familiarity with Larry Izzo, the special teams coordinator. We'll see. But Nick Bellore also is a little bit more proven. I think Anthony Pittman is a great special teamer, but Nick Bellore, again, has gone to the Pro Bowl for that in 2020 and 2023. So maybe they're going with the more proven product. And also the guy that literally has played under our new special teams coordinator and Larry Izzo. So they already know what to do. They already can read each other's minds. He knows exactly what Larry Izzo asks of him. If anything, Bellore can come in and probably show some of the other people the ropes. Or maybe this is a situation where they sign him to the practice squad. Maybe they want to go out there week one and see if some of our young guns can go out there and have that impact. Like Tyler Owens, you already have All-Pro Revo and Jeremy Reeves. We already have a lot of really good special teams guys on the team already. Maybe they just wanted to keep Bellore to the side and see if we need him, and then they elevate him going into week two potentially. We'll see, but I think they're probably going to give guys like Tyler Owens, who are the young guys, like how I said earlier with Nick Bellore, where it's like this is purely special teams and that's it. Tyler Owens is a guy that, like, you hope he can eventually develop into a really good safety for you. But for now, he's going to be a great special teams player. They're going to try to see if these young guys can handle the special teams. If not, then you elevate Nick Bellore to the actual 53-man roster and let him handle the special teams. And then Tyler Owens and those guys kind of sit. But I'm really confident in what I've seen in Tyler Owens. Tyler Owens, Jeremy Reeves, I feel like we're good to go there. That opening kickoff against the Patriots in that third preseason game where they had that big hit immediately, the very first initial kickoff to start the entire game, first quarter, 15 minutes left. Big hit from both of those guys. I mean, sent the guy basically in the air. So I feel like we're good there to go as far as, and so we'll see what the Nick Bellore situation is. Really interesting, but I definitely wanted to make sure I updated y'all on that and gave you every angle that I could possibly think of as to why we probably signed this guy. Now moving on to the whole stadium situation. So the Washington Commanders and NorthWest Federal Credit Union are announcing an exclusive naming rights agreement for the team's stadium. The team will usher in a new era at NorthWest Stadium for its September 15th home opener against the New York Giants. And there you go. No longer FedEx Field. Now it is NorthWest Stadium. It was Commander Stadium for a little while, but that was only partially throughout the offseason. We never even had a chance to play in Commander Stadium. So it really never happened. That was just like a name that they kind of just put there as a placeholder just in case they're not able to get an exclusive name and rights agreement with an official business to sponsor the stadium and everything like that. But again, that's neither here nor there. No more Commander Stadium. It never became a thing. It is officially NorthWest Stadium. You will see NWs everywhere, just like you used to see the FedEx logo. Now you'll see new NWs. And hey, man, new company, new money. Shouts out to Felix Trammell. It's a win for the team, man. It's definitely a win for the team. It's a win-win for everybody. Everybody wins from this. This is good. Shouts out to Felix for this as well. He said, don't worry about the name. Celebrate the money. The fact that a top company wants to invest in one of the worst stadiums in the NFL shows us a new day. Who cares about the name? I completely agree. I'm right with them there. Now, Hogstad did bring up a good point by pointing this out right here, as you can see on your screen right now. And this is silly, obviously, because it's called NorthWest Stadium, not because of where it's located, but because of like the actual, like this is the actual name of the company. Like it's NorthWest. That's the name of the business that is sponsoring the stadium. So obviously it doesn't have to be in Northwest DC or anything like that. And DC is already interesting because that's the only city I know of that, does Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, Southeast. Everybody else I know of, especially Atlanta, we do North, South, East, and West. I mean Southwest a little bit, but I don't know. That's really interesting how DC is broken up like that, to where it's, north. I always thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty unique to compared to other cities. But either way, man, I mean, when you're looking at the map again, of course it doesn't have to be in Northwest, man. It does not have to be. But I just thought that was pretty interesting. And of course, some people are overthinking it and complaining about that. But moving on, shouts out to Aaron Rappaport for pointing these things out. He said on the Commanders and Northwest Federal Credit Union naming rights deal, per sources, one, a deal that exceeds the average annual value of the previous naming rights agreement. So they're giving us more money than FedEx Field gave us, not FedEx Field, than FedEx gave us. It's so hard to kind of break that mold. Now it's going to be Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland. It's going to take a little bit to get used to, but I love it. I mean, again, the fact that they're paying the Washington Commanders organization more money than FedEx did is beautiful. It also, second, does not include any options on a new potential stadium either. So if the Commanders get the new stadium that they want, whether it's RFK in DC, whatever that site or wherever it ends up being, they're not forced to stick with Northwest going through that. Like, Northwest only has this current stadium, this in Landover, Maryland. I almost called it FedEx Field again, but either way, that's all they have. So if Josh Harris and company want to move on to a new, bigger, better sponsor by the time they get a new stadium going, which will actually very soon as be 2030, and I highly doubt that even happens that soon, then they have the option to do so. So that's a win for our side. And then also, it's an 8-year deal that does not preclude the team from opening a new stadium sooner than the expiration of this deal. So the Commanders made sure everything on their end is good to go. We have a deal with a partner in Northwest Stadium that's willing to pay us loads of money for the next 8 years. But if we get a new stadium and we want a new deal with a new sponsor, then we can do that as well. It's a win-win in every angle from the Washington Commanders side of things. Shouts out to them for not only getting a top business in the Northwest Credit Union to invest, but to also get the type of deal that they got, to where if they want out sooner than they can, if they want to, they can. I mean, there are so many options here. That's really cool. Shouts out to Resh Manuel for pointing this out too. He said, I should have known Northwest Federal Credit Union was a lead contender when they signed for multiple sponsorships with the Commanders last fall. It makes sense. Shouts out to Grant Paulson as well. He said the Commander Stadium was without a sponsor for about like 10 minutes. I know it's the NFL, but they were able to get a sponsor-maligned venue in no time. It's crazy. Nationals Park has never had naming rights. How much revenue could have been generated with naming rights over the last 16 years? That's a good point. It's not just automatic because you have a professional sports stadium that a sponsor is going to come in and give you a good deal. Again, the Nationals are still struggling, like Grant Paulson pointed out. Josh Harris, within just a few months of losing the FedEx deal, because they got, and that's another thing too, because it's not like they expected the FedEx deal to end. There was that out in the contract, but that's not a contract that Josh Harris signed. That was a contract he inherited from Dan Snyder that he signed with FedEx, to where FedEx could basically, if a new owner were to come in, they could get out of the deal as soon as they wanted. I don't know why they wanted to. I don't know why they did that. But either way, I'm happy that they did, because it seems like Northwest is going to be better for us overall anyway. But my point is, Josh Harris was kind of blindsided by that by a little bit. I'm pretty sure he was somewhat aware, but I mean, FedEx just basically got out of that way sooner than they were supposed to do contractually. They had like a couple of more years left on the deal. And so Josh Harris and company had to, okay, well, this was a left turn. Let's figure out if we can find somebody else for the job. And they went and did that. So shouts out to them for being able to do that. And then shouts out to the Washington Commanders official website for this update. They said today the Washington Commanders announced a new multi-year partnership with Northwest Federal Credit Union, NWFCU, a full-service member-owned financial institution ranking among the largest credit unions in Virginia. As part of the partnership, NWFCU will be the official credit union of the Washington Commanders and will be presenting partner of the Commanders High School Game of the Week program, which is really cool, the Commanders Road Community Program, shouts out to that, and the Field Goal feature on the Commanders Radio Network for all radio broadcasted games. Additionally, NWFCU will entitle the Joe Gibbs Club level renamed to the Joe Gibbs Club level, presented by Northwest Federal Credit Union. So they're tied in everywhere in every way with this whole situation. They are fully diving into the Washington Commanders brand. They're even involved with Joe Gibbs himself. Quote, we're proud to partner with Northwest Credit Union. We care about staying connected to our community and finding ways to support local institutions that serve our fans, our local business in the Washington region, said Jason Wright. Now, Jason Wright technically is on the way out, but he's still, and technically he was demoted / fired in a way, but he's still helping with things like this. So it makes sense. Of course, ex-president of the Washington Commanders, technically. We're looking forward to working with NWFCU to give back to the community with programs like the High School of the Game of the Week and Commanders Reads programs, all of that type of stuff. That is great. Shouts out to the Commanders for even I mean, that's a great point too. This is a business based in Virginia. They didn't go elsewhere to bring in somewhere else in the country or even outside of the country, like some random investor from a completely different country to come sponsor the stadium. They stuck with Virginia to sponsor their stadium. Shouts out to them for that, man, because they didn't have to do that, but you could tell that there was an intent to keep it within the local community, as Jason Wright said in his read. Also, I just want to let you know that, just in case if you don't know, the High School Game of the Week is a new Washington Commanders initiative designed to spotlight high school football matchups and recognize excellence throughout the Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia football communities. Washington Legend Youth Football Ambassadors will travel to a select high school football games throughout the fall season to engage with students, distribute Commander swag, and present a $1,000 donation to each high school football program on behalf of the Washington Commanders Charitable Foundation. Then the Commanders Read is an education-focused based program developed to encourage learning and reading to 4th and 5th grade students located in Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. This year, the Commanders will provide 2,500 books to different schools and organizations. So these are the things that the Washington Commanders and NorthWest Credit Union are about, basically. Also, shouts out to Scott Jennings of Hogshaven for pointing this out. He said that the Washington Commanders played one game at Commanders Field, and that was the 20-10 win over the New England Patriots, which will go down in the history book. So technically, my fault from earlier. We didn't play a regular season game, but we did play a preseason game in technically Commanders Field. That was that preseason game, and we won that game. Hey, shouts out to Commanders Field. Maybe it was slightly good luck, even though it's a preseason game, so it really doesn't matter. Continuing with the article, the team lost their longtime sponsorship with FedEx when they opted out of the deal in February, a move that the new Commanders ownership group was anticipating. They switched to Commanders Field as they search for a new naming rights partner. The team has entered into an 8-year naming rights deal with NorthWest Credit Union, and the stadium will now be called NorthWest Stadium. Nikki Javala from the Washington Post reports that the deal will be worth more than the FedEx deal, $7.5 million per year, and this deal should cover the time that the Washington will be using this current stadium. The team is actively looking for the next location for their stadium, and Josh Harris told reporters on Sunday that 2030 was the target date. Again, doesn't include any options in a new potential stadium, and the deal does not preclude the team from opening a new stadium sooner than the expiration of this deal. The Commanders did this every way the right way, and I love it. Also, shouts out to Tailgate Ted, because he rode by the stadium, as you can see in this picture right here. He rode by the stadium just to see that the FedEx colors are gone. The colors, the logo, everything is gone. So I'm pretty sure that NW is going to be up there very soon. Also, before we get up out of here, I wanted to update y'all on a couple of more things. First of all, at the LSU game, and hey, man, Jaden Daniels, hey, man, I feel for you, man. I feel for you. Shouts out to you and your LSU Tigers, man. They went out bad, man. That boy Brian Kelly don't know how to win a week 1 game, especially against a good opponent. Y'all need to start playing teams like Vanderbilt or Citadel or something week 1, like Alabama does, South Alabama and stuff like that. Stop playing them good teams, man. But either way, Jaden Daniels was basically awarded his Heisman Trophy. He was able to present it to everybody. They honored him and everything like that before the game started. That was really cool. I thought that would give LSU enough energy to go out there and win that game. Even as a Georgia Bulldog fan, of course, I have no love for LSU whatsoever. I actually kind of hate them, but I the best way to word it is I was rooting against USC more than I was actually rooting for LSU, because USC, recruiting wise, as a Georgia Bulldog fan, if you're into recruiting, it doesn't matter what you're a fan of. Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, anybody, we all are starting to get sick of USC right now. So just because of that alone, I was rooting against USC, even though it hurt my soul to the very core to even kind of be rooting for LSU. But either way, man, I had to do it. And hey, I mean, shouts out to LSU for folding that game away. I was rooting for y'all to win, kind of, but y'all still threw it away. And I really feel sorry for Jaden Daniels. He had to see that up close and personal, the way that they sold that game. Also, speaking of Jaden Daniels, he will make his NFL debut in 5 days. Just to keep you updated, I can't wait for that. It's September 2nd, and we do play September 8th. So make sure you pull up. So it's technically 6 days. I don't know. I guess, 5 days and some hours if you want to be specific. Shouts out to @JDanielsMVP for providing that, just to, keep y'all updated. Just a reminder, technically 6 days, but like 5 days and some hours. Also, shouts out to JP Finley for pointing out the fact that the Commanders do have a walkthrough today. No media allowed, though, because they're starting to strategize. We're getting into the regular season. This is no longer training camp. Training camp is over with. These are actual regular season practices, so no media allowed. And the first time that the media will actually get to see them is Wednesday, but I'm pretty sure they're going to keep it very vanilla so that nobody's spying on them and giving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers any information on what we plan on doing offensively, defensively, or even special teams wise. So they have a walkthrough today, no media, and then Wednesday they will practice, and the media, I guess, will actually get to see some of it, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be much we can really take away from it anyway. And then we're loading up and getting ready for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm excited. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned, man. I really appreciate y'all for the support. Make sure you do not leave this video without leaving a like. Of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about everything discussed in this video, about us signing a Pro Bowl linebacker / special teamer in Nick Bellore. I don't really want to emphasize the linebacker part. That's why I include special teamer every time I say it. Even in the title of this video, I say special teamer. I'm not trying to clickbait and let y'all think that we just signed another Bobby Wagner or something like that. This is a special teams guy, but let me know how you feel about the situation. If you feel like he's going to have an immediate impact on his team, will he be upgraded to the 53-man roster before we even play Tampa Bay, or maybe they'll wait to see what the younger guys are doing, like I think they may do. And then also let me know how you feel about the whole NorthWest Stadium situation. Are you as excited as I am that we not only have a new sponsor, but a better sponsor from what it seems? And also let me know how you feel about everything else as well, with Jaden Daniels making his debut in a few days, less than a week, y'all. So let's get it. I'm really excited. Again, do not leave this video without leaving a like. I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.